Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about all the news we have gotten this week. This has been a busy week for Doctor Who. We had the Tales from the Tardis drop. We had the announcement of the Daleks coming in color in movie form. Series 1 being called Season 1. It's been a busy time for Doctor Who. And it's kind of what I feared was going to happen, that the first half of the year was going to be nothing, and then they were going to cram everything in here at the end, which is a lot to keep up with. I wish some of this had been spread out across the year a little better. Because the first 6 months, I even did a whole video on it talking about how the first 6 months of this year, the anniversary year, were very disappointing. We really only got rumors of more animations and rumors of old stories being colorized from the Mira. And then the season 9 box set. That's all we really got for the most part. What's up, Sir Meows a lot? It's good to see you back, buddy. How you doing? And then they're kind of just power loading everything in. I kind of wish the David Tennant specials had been spread out across the year, a lot like the Tennant specials in 2009 were, instead of getting them pretty much 3 consecutive Saturdays, although I'm glad they're not like 3 days in a row. But just so much to go over, Let's talk about the Daleks first. I'm actually really excited about this new version of the Daleks that's coming. And I know, because a lot of the people who watch my channel, of course, are Classic Who fans that talk about Classic Who more than I do Modern Who. I know anytime we hear something like, so they're thinking about taking some of the old Classic Who stories and modernizing them a bit, our immediate reaction is, you're what now? Some updated effects we're usually cool with, although some people aren't even cool with that. But like really modernizing it, we're apprehensive. But this is a story I think really benefits from it. Because what is my biggest complaint about the Daleks always been? I have one complaint I've always had about the Daleks. You guys have heard me say it 1,000 times. It's why the Daleks are not high on my ranking of Dalek stories and why I don't tend to recommend it. The answer, of course, is it's too long. The Daleks drags. At 7 parts, the Daleks, it just drags all the time. I've talked about that a lot of times. There's a lot of filler in the Daleks. So as soon as I hear edited down, I'm going, yes, that's what the Daleks needs, editing down. And the fact that they're going to take something that's 7 25-minute episodes and edit it down into a 75-minute film, and the fact they think they can make that work, that tells me that even they feel there's a lot of filler. There's a lot in there that they don't need. Let me throw on my glasses here. My reaction of chopping them is wine and cheese, but it may be Cuda. Meows a lot. Hello. What's up, Tardis Spider? Doing good, I hope. This is the best way to bring new, younger eyes to the first Doctor. See, even the people who worked on this project realized there's a lot in the Daleks that can go. To chop it down that much, there's a lot that doesn't need to be there, which has always been what I've said. I'm curious to see what the color is going to look like, because color restoration has come a long way. You look at the color efforts of stuff from the 90s and the 2000s, or Ted Turner, and you look at how far it's come since then. What's up, Liam? It's good to see you, buddy. You did make it. There has been so much news. You look at, like, say, The Mind of Evil, which, of course, episodes 2 through 6 were done with the Chromia dot recovery, but episode 1 had to be manually recolored by Babel Color. And you look at how more advanced that was than stuff from the 90s and 2000s. So I'm curious, especially with computers and with AI, just how much colorization has progressed from, say, when The Mind of Evil was done. I'm curious just how good this project is going to look colorized. Also, I'm excited about the new music. I think they're going to adapt the original music, not just completely change up the music. But I'm curious to see what Mark does with it. I trust Mark with Doctor Who. Mark is kind of the sound guy I think about when I think of Modern Who these days, besides Dudley, of course. I think they're even supposed to be adding in some new effects and maybe even a new scene or two. So I'm really curious to see this. I don't know if I need a home media version of it. Like if they do like a steelbook release for this brand new version of the Daleks, I don't know if I need to buy that. I might just wait for the eventual season 1 that we hopefully get. Um,
Why don't they edit shows that really need it? They could cut everything between the opening and closing credits of the
Timeless Children. Yes, they could. News on that in a minute too. I don't think I need to own this new version of the Daleks. Now, if they do some kind of steelbook release and somebody wants to send it, that's fine. But I don't feel like I would need to spend that much money on a steelbook release just to buy this newer edited version of the Daleks, because that would set a precedent where they started doing this with a lot of stories, and that's just a rabbit hole financially I don't want to fall down into. Again, mostly just for the financial problems of it.
Does the editing down bother those of us who watch the PBS versions to start with?
I never saw the Daleks on PBS. I mean, I watched Doctor Who on PBS. That's where I discovered Doctor Who, but I never saw the Daleks on it. I don't remember seeing much black and white on PBS, except the War Games. I do remember seeing the War Games on PBS. Although I can't remember if it was the whole thing or just part of it. But I remember seeing the ending of the War Games on PBS, I should say. Interesting is that Russell has also said recently, Russell T. Davis has also said that he's not going to be retconning the Timeless Children. He has actively pointing out, he goes, let's stare that one right in the eye. I'm not going to retcon anything that Chris did. Now, this doesn't mean he's going to embrace it either. What I fully expect him to do is just ignore it, to just not touch on it, to just move on from it. Kind of like the TV movie with the whole Doctor being half human thing. You know how they never really touched on that again when the TV movie brought up that the 8th Doctor's half human. They just kind of moved on and they don't talk about it. I suspect that's what Russell is going to do with the Timeless Children. I suspect he's just going to put it aside and do his thing and just not touch on it is what I fully think will happen.
Mississippi PBS is where I first saw Hartnell.
Interesting, because that's where I live. I don't remember seeing Hartnell right off. I didn't see Hartnell until later. I think the first time I ever saw the first Doctor was actually in the 5 Doctors, so really more Richard Herndl. Might be why I have such a fondness for Richard Herndl in the role. But I am excited about this new version of the Daleks. I really, really am. I don't know if we're going to get it here in the US or not. I know it's supposed to be showing on BBC and on the iPlayer. I don't know if we'll get it here in the US, although I do have one of my subscribers is a very clever fellow with computers, so I may get to watch it regardless. That's how I got to see Tales of the Tardis. Hudson, what's up, Hudson? It's good to see you, buddy.
I think RTD understands what to do with the Timeless Children. I think it's clear he's saying that he's not going to instantly dismiss it, but he won't directly dive into it.
That's exactly what I expect.
Phil says, and Phil Cousins said today that there's no multi-Doctor stories for the 60th.
That's interesting. I just saw something about this where they came up that there's no multi-Doctor stories for the 60th, possibly because they've been done so much. Of course, that could just be misdirection and red herring. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a little cameo somewhere. I still want my Tom Baker cameo. I really do.
Imagine a Tales of the TARDIS style opening for the Daleks colorization with David Bradley and Carol Ann Ford.
I would be fine with that if they did something like that. It'd be a great way to get Carol involved, and it would be a great way to have the first Doctor represented in it. So I would be fine if they did that.
Why do those Tales from the TARDIS dark side were done, I suspect? Tales from the dark side. I think Phil means that there isn't a full story, but there will be scenes with them.
I would be fine with that if, it's just little cameos, as long as it makes sense to the story. Like, I'd love to have Tom in there somehow, as long as it fits with the story. So I'm really excited about that. I think that approach with the Timeless Children of just not touching on it is fine. Just kind of leave it alone so people can, if they want to ignore it like they do the half human thing, they can do that. And you don't have to worry about it. Underwater Menace will be releasing in just over a week. It comes out on the 13th still. I'm excited about that. Of course, I will still have to wait for it to get here which actually won't be here. I'll be moving next Saturday. Next Saturday will be a regular video. It won't be like a live stream or a live chat because I'll actually be moving. Not excited about that, but I've got my friends roped into it. We'll get it knocked out. But it'll be on the way. It'll probably take me about a week and a half to get it. And then I can start doing reviews of it and all of that. Let's see what this says here. A hidden in the crowd cameo for Baker like Hitchcock did. Tell me about it. I'd love Tom back, to be honest, even if it doesn't fit in with the story. Like, we've got such silly little time left with him. So even if he could just have a voiceover, that would be amazing. That's true. I mean, Tom will be 90 in January. And, you know, it's sadly a strong chance he won't be here for the 70th anniversary, or even if he was, he wouldn't be able to participate. So I would love for them to do something with him, hopefully while they can. Rather than cut the original Daleks, why not extend the Peter Cushing films? I mean, the Peter Cushing films kind of are the cut down version of the Daleks, you would think. I do like the Peter Cushing films, actually. Flyattractor sent me both of them on Blu-ray last year, and I enjoyed watching them and reviewing them. I'm really excited, though, about Underwater Menace. That steelbook looks gorgeous, even though they still did the tropey thing of the Tardis on the front, creature on the back, which I had mentioned I tend to get I'm a little bored with, but they did such a good job with the art that it looks beautiful, so it gets a pass. I'm really looking forward to having that steelbook on the shelf. I've actually still got my steelbooks out. They're just on the shelf over there instead of the one behind me. Even though I'm going to have to pack those up in a few days too. So I'm looking forward to the Underwater Menace animation so I can watch it and the surviving episodes. I've never seen Underwater Menace. There's only 7 classic stories I haven't seen yet. Underwater Menace is one of them because I've been holding off for the animation. We also got the announcement that the Modern series is basically going to be rebranding itself as season 1. Let's see, 4K looks marvelous. RTD definitely has more inspiration for the show from those, but that's what it feels like at times. Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? Hey, don't apologize for being late. You probably got stuff going on. But a lot of us do, no big worries. Interesting that Doctor Who is rebranding as season 1. I don't like it. I understand it. I get why they're doing it. I don't like it. It just seems confusing and irksome, and it's going to get mixed up with other stuff. We already have a Doctor Who season 1. It came out in 1963, although I don't know if people at the time actually referred to them as season 1, season 2, season 3 back in the day. But it's just going to be frustrating having a season 1, a series 1, and a season 1. I just want a small Matt Smith cameo and a Tom Baker cameo of some sort in the 60th. I'd be happy with that too, although Matt's a very busy guy these days, to be fair. I'm pretty sure the season 1 thing is Disney's idea. That scares me simply because I don't like Disney having input. Here's how I want Disney involved. Write the checks for the money and put it on Disney Plus, which I have. That's all I want. When Disney is sitting there going, so we have notes, that's when I start getting worried. I mean, Disney literally ruined Star Wars for me. I mean, I like The Mandalorian and I love Tales from the Jedi, but I used to love Star Wars, and now I don't really love Star Wars. I mean, Disney just kind of killed Star Wars for me. I can't stand the sequel trilogy. And most of the other Star Wars shows, I don't really care for, although I still need to watch Andor, to be honest. So Disney kind of ruined Star Wars for me. I don't really like what they did with Indiana Jones, to be honest. So the idea of Disney having input on Doctor Who terrifies me, utterly terrifies me. With them going, say, we have notes for you. I'm like, not notes. So I'm a little concerned, but I understand why they're rebranding as season 1. It would be easy, especially since series 1 through 13 won't be on Disney Plus because they're on Max. And it's a lot harder for us to get stuff here in America because of licensing agreements right now. You know, classic Doctor Who is stuck with BritBox, I think, until like spring 2025, I hear. And Max has all of Modern Who series 1 through 13. So Disney will only have from the Tenet specials going forward. So I can understand them not wanting to start with series 14 because people might be less inclined to watch it. Where if they start with season 1, people might go, season 1 of Doctor Who? Let's give it a watch. So I get it. I just don't know if I like it. What's up, Foggy? Still in bits over the last tale from the Tardis. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I did enjoy those. I will be talking about those in a minute as well.
Jake, what's up? Jake says Andor is easily one of the best Star Wars things ever. Watch it, especially from episode 3 onwards. Starting a first watch of Voyager so far. I liked Voyager. Voyager is my least favorite of the Legacy seasons series, like original through Enterprise, but I still like it. Voyager has a lot of strong episodes. But I don't like the branding, but I get it. I understand why Disney would do that. I understand it's going to help them pull more people in. It's just frustrating. What I wouldn't mind, and I've seen people suggest this, is maybe they'll just call it season 1 on Disney Plus, whereas in the UK it'll still be called Series 14. I would be fine with that. Also, if the media branding, because I tend to import stuff anyway, said Series 14 on it, it would line up better on my shelves, and I wouldn't be so OCD crazy about it. DS9 far superior. I do like DS9 better than Voyager as well. Different season 1 on my shelf will look messy. Exactly. What are we supposed to call these shows? A different season 1 would look messy. I mean, I guess like I saw somebody suggest we could call it Who 63, Who 05, and Who 24, or Who 2005 and Who 24. I mean, you could call that to differentiate between them. Who 63, Who 05, Who 24. Or I guess you could say Classic Season 1, Classic Season 26. But I don't want them to start putting that on the box sets because it would look weird for it to start appearing when it wasn't on there before. But I guess just in fandom, we could call it that. Classic Season 1, Classic Season 2, or Modern Series 1, Modern Series 2. Or if I wanted to be really mean about it, we could call the old ones Actual Season 1, and we could call the new ones Fake Season 1 if I wanted to be mean about it. Let's see. Gatwa Season 1. See, I don't really want them doing these things the way the Americans do the box sets here with the Tom Baker Season 1, Tom Baker Season 2. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. DS9 Best Voyager is Next Generation Light, both better than the sweary for sweary safe stuff. Yeah, I don't like modern Next Generation at all. If they have to change it, then use volumes. That was one of the things I suggested, I think, when I did a video about it the other day. Volume 1, volume, especially being only 8 episodes. That makes sense. You know, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. I would be fine with that because the seasons are so much shorter now. See, it makes way more sense to call classic Doctor Who seasons, especially those 60s ones. Those are seasons. I mean, the average season in 60s Who is about 40 episodes, a little more, a little less. Like season 1 is like 37, 38, 39 episodes. That's a season. 8 episodes, that's a volume. A volume. That's exactly how they should do that. The solution, don't buy it. Your shelves will look fine. I'll probably end up buying it. We'll make it next. Oh, Deep Space Nine. He's talking about Deep Space Nine. A season lasts more than a few weeks. Exactly. A season lasts more than 8 episodes. That's how I've always looked at it. The 70s average was 24. Yeah, a lot of the 70s ran 24, 25, 26, 27. Although I know season 12 was only 20. 8 episodes is a mini-series. Exactly. And they could call it that. Limited Series 1. Limited Series 2. I'd be fine with that. 6 episodes. Is Loki season 2 only 6 episodes? Am I already that far through it? Have you pre-ordered Blackadder? I have not, just because of the price and bills. It is on my Amazon UK wish list, if anyone wants to look at that. Because I love Blackadder. Blackadder is actually my favorite British show, even more than Doctor Who. I love Blackadder. And I have the DVD collection set of Blackadder. I want that Blu-ray so bad. The film elements from season 1 are going to look so good. It's on the, not the regular Amazon wish list, but the Amazon UK wish list. Because I do want to get it. I just can't afford to get it at the moment with moving and everything I've got going on and all the Doctor Who stuff coming out. Shamrock says, nice. Yes. I did not realize Loki season 2 was only 6 episodes because I have been watching it. I've watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes of it. But I get Disney rebranding. I guess while I'm annoyed about the season 1 rebrand, I get it. It's more me being concerned about Disney and how much input they have over it. Let's talk about Tales from the Tardis. I have actually seen Tales from the Tardis. Again, one of my subscribers is a clever fellow. So I did get to watch those. I did enjoy those. I didn't actually watch much of the
old footage much of the classic episodes. I've seen them before. But I did watch all of the new intros and all of the new outros. I have seen the Joe and Clyde one now. I had when I did the original video. And they're good. They're a little too sentimental at times. And there's a little too much, I just wish I could see the doctor one more time. My life is nothing without the doctor. While at the same time going, but I've led a good life since then. It gets a little too emotional, a little more. But everyone's putting in a nice performance, and it's good to see everyone again. I especially like the ones with the Doctor in them. Those three are my favorites, with Ace in 7 and Perry in 6 and Tegan in 5. I like that it explores a couple of the things that we didn't get really touched on much, like classic Doctor Who never really dealt with Adric's death. It just kind of happened. They were sad. The episode ended, and then you kind of moved on from that, much like how the classic Who never really dealt with Nissa's father being basically killed by the Master. It just kind of moved on from that. So it's nice kind of getting the closure of the Fifth Doctor and Tegan dealing with Adric's death here. I actually really like that. Plus, I just always love seeing Peter and Janet together. You can tell they're good friends. They have such good chemistry when they're on screen and when they're just in character together. What a coincidence we're talking about Blackadder. I have a thingy shaped like a turnip. Remember Red Dwarf USA? I don't know if I ever saw Red Dwarf USA, but I do remember one. Let's see. Tardis splatters. The mawkishness was getting forced and repetitive. I binged the 6 episodes, not a serial for each. I thought it was perfection. 6 and Perry was something I waited so long for. Poor misunderstood Adric. I actually like Adric with Tom. I don't really like Adric with Peter. Jack XDW says, hello. What's up, buddy? Good point about Adric. Doctor Who Magical Entertainment, good to see you back. It's rumored that David Bradley will play the first Doctor in Tales of Tardis Series 2. I would love to see that. Jakey says, every story felt like an ending for each character. So that's it for me for these characters. If that's it for it, that's fine for me. You don't want to see it. I don't want to see what? What do I not want to see? So definitely look it up. Oh, you're talking about Red Dwarf, the American version? No, thank you. I still got to watch the UK version. Somebody sent me that. Underwater Menace in January. Peter Davison season 2 comes out in April, correct? That's probably the American releases, Jeremy. I do believe those are the American releases. I import, so I already have my season 20 right behind me. I always recommend importing. And then the Underwater Menace releases on November 13th in the UK, and I'll be importing that as well. The best thing to do is forget America's Red Dwarf. I want to see a Tales where Adric comes back and kicks the Fifth Doctor in the groin for leaving and die. You figured with a TARDIS at some point he could have went back and saved him. Good point. UK version first. Yes, I do need to watch that first. I have that, and I will be watching it. I'm still working on Blake 7. Oh, news! The Blake 7 episode 2 reaction has been edited. It's done. I was going to release it in November, but since November's Doctor Who month, I pushed it back. But the reaction for episode 2 of Blake 7 is coming in December. So it's edited, it's done. The full version of it is already available on the Patreon. So if you want to see the full reaction, that's available on the Patreon at every tier level. Even the $2 tier level, you can watch that full reaction. I wanted to put it on YouTube just for my members only so Shamrock can see it, but YouTube won't let me upload the full version because of copyright strike. I tried, it copyrighted it, so I'm sorry about that, Shamrock. I highly recommend the Patreon. But the edited version of it is coming next month. I can't believe Underwater Menace is only 9 days away. I'm super excited about that as well. Where with Tales from the TARDIS. I did enjoy Colin with Perry. I love the fact that even though he's not in his coat, his coat's hanging on the coat rack. He's more in his, apparently Colin also plays the Curator now in Big Finish, I've heard. So maybe that's his Curator coat. Because I know Tom still does Curator stuff for Big Finish too, but apparently there's another incarnation of the Curator that Colin also plays, I think. So maybe that's him there. It's interesting with Colin how much he's grown as an actor, because you watch him in the intro and then it switches to the story, and Colin's, of course, doing his theatrical acting, which, as you know, I find a little over the top at times. And then when it cuts to the outro, the ending part, his acting is just so good. I love the Doctor and the Warrior Queen. I like that. I enjoyed that. I loved Sylvester with Ace and how They got their closure because we've always known Ace and the Seventh Doctor parted on bad terms. That's always kind of been a thing in the fan consciousness. So to kind of have them explore and touch on that in a way we never really got much. We got it some in Power of the Doctor, Power of the Doctor. I like that they explored that here. I love the little bit about the Seventh Doctor talking about timelines, about how in some I regenerate, in some I grow older. That's a nice little bit and a great way to sneak in classic Doctors later if you ever want to. That's pretty cool. I very much enjoyed that. I always love just seeing Ace and Sylvester. I always do. I'd like to see your reaction to Sapphire and Steel, just saying, and not in any way a hint. Doesn't that one have David McCullum in it, as I recall? I believe Sapphire and Steel had David McCullum. They're both like aliens that represent the different metals like lead and all that. And then they show up at Earth to capture like rogue aliens or something, as I recall. And I love me some David McCullum. The coat probably would not fit badly. If they made a crossover special of Doctor Who and Red Dwarf, which Doctor would you want to meet the crew? Capaldi. That would be funny to see Capaldi meet the crew. You've seen One Piece? I have never seen One Piece. What's up, Steve? How you doing? I've never seen One Piece. I know it's popular. Troughton or Smith? Troughton. I mean, I love Smith too. Smith's my favorite modern Doctor, but Troughton. Smith is my fourth favorite Doctor. Troughton is my second favorite Doctor. I agree. Good points on 7. Phil says, yes, it does. Season 2 of Tales should be Susan, or even better, bring back on the main show already. Doctor Who Volume 3, Chapter 1. I could see that. Because it really does. I mentioned that in my video, I think, yesterday, that the new Doctor Who rebranding that Disney is doing feels like a brand new Doctor Who series. Not like a continuation of Modern Who, but like a new third series. Like Modern Who ends at 13 series. And we've got a brand new incarnation of Doctor Who, a third series, New Who, to borrow from New Earth in Modern Who, New Who, Modern New Who, New Modern Who. That really seems like what this is going to be, like a third Doctor Who series that just keeps the continuity of Modern Who, just like Modern Who kept the continuity of Classic Who. And that'll be interesting. Maybe that's why in America they went ahead and released that series 1 through 13 box set, because maybe they consider that that's it. That's that whole second incarnation of Doctor Who on television is that box set, which is interesting. She's like 89. So wait, what? Oh, wow. Carol Ann Ford, it must be. She's like 89. I didn't know that. Nana Who. Nanu Who. I keep imagining McGann's Doctor in a crossover with Red Dwarf. I would love that, just to get more of McGann's Doctor. That's what we need, is a Tales of the TARDIS with the 8th Doctor in it. I mean, I don't know if they can use Grace or not due to rights and all that, but I would love to have him with maybe one of the companions we haven't seen. Bring Charlie back. Have the actual actress who voices Charlie do a live action Charlie. That would be great. I'm sure a lot of people would like that. Duncan. What's up, Duncan? Hello there. I am so dang excited for the colorization omnibus of the Daleks. Me too. It might make me really want to watch it because it drags quite a bit in the latter half. Yes, that's always been my complaint about the Daleks. It's way too long. Red Dwarf needs Mork. Charlie. I would love to have Charlie. Power of the Doctor did feel like an ending, so that works as the ending of New Who. And that's true, actually. Power of the Doctor actually is a good episode. It feels like an ending. It feels like an anniversary special, actually, bringing back the old Doctors, the old companions. It feels almost like an anniversary special. Very much like the 5 Doctors, actually, bringing back some old people for some good bits in a story that might not be the best plot-wise, but as an anniversary celebration, it works. It's a lot like 5 Doctors in that regard. If they write 8 as 8 and not as 11, that would be great. I would love to have more of McGann. I think a lot of us would love to have more of McGann. So I would love a series 2 from that. I did enjoy the nice little nods to other stuff. Like I enjoyed Jamie and Zoe catching up, because it's just great to see Wendy and Frasier back. Jamie's one of my favorite companions, and Zoe is as well. I love the nice mention of Victoria in there. It's a nice nod to Deborah. Same thing with Clyde and Joe were talking. I love that they had a little nod in there to Sarah Jane. It gets a little mushy for me, like her seeing Cliff. I get that's a nice nod to Stuart Bevan. but it just seems a little too much. Or Vicky and Steven wishing to see the first Doctor and hearing the first Doctor chuckle, which on one hand is nice, on the other hand seems a little much. I still prefer the ones with the Doctors in them more for Tales of the Tardis, but I'm glad they did that. It's a great entry point for people who haven't seen a lot of classic Who to watch it too. Although I did notice the versions of old episodes used were not the Blu-ray releases. They were like the DVD releases. So no updated effects and no restoration work. And having watched the Time Meddler recently, you can see the difference, because I didn't watch all of the Time Meddler in that, but I did skim through it, and you can see where the footage is way better on the Blu-ray release. So those Blu-rays are still worth the price we're paying for them. It's just a shame that people who are only watching these on the Tales of the TARDIS or on ITV, they're not seeing these episodes in their best available quality. Let's see what we got here. Tom Baker was terrific in that episode of Blackadder 2. How breath those lips have never had. You have a woman's bottom. I love that one. When Tom Baker plays the legless sea captain. Yes, I do love that one very much. Oh, bet that bottom has never had to plug the hole of a ship. Tom's just great in that. Tales from the TARDIS made Dimensions in Time canon as well. Did it? I don't really remember that. Or maybe it was that bit with the Ronnie they're talking about at the beginning. Dimensions in Time. Isn't it odd that the episodes of the Daleks everyone complains about, 5 through 7, are the episodes that have the highest ratings back in the day, over 10 million? No more odd than me telling you the Dalek story that has the highest viewing figures of all time is Destiny of the Daleks. Yeah, seriously, of all the Dalek stories that have when it comes to Dalek stories and viewing figures, the one that has the highest is Destiny of the Daleks, which of course is only surpassed by the greatest Doctor Who story ever made, City of Death, which has the highest viewing figures of all time, which I take pride in because it's my favorite Doctor Who story of all time. I love City of Death. I think McGann wasn't in Tales of the TARDIS because they have other plans for him. I would love that to be true. Good, interesting point. The first 5 half tales tried to tug at the heartstrings too hard, but the second McCoy and AC really got to me for some reason. It was a good one. They could have had McGann paired with Sadie Miller and had a tale with 8 and Sarah Jane. I would love that. I think Sadie already voices Sarah. I would be fine with Sadie doing Sarah. And I know for Halloween, she actually did a pose dressed up as Sarah Jane from Planet of the Spiders with the spider on her back doing the pose. That was absolutely adorable. The Time Meddler was missing that 12 seconds, I think it is. 12 seconds, yes, it was. Because it's not the restored version for the Blu-ray. Wasn't Nicola in Blackadder? Yes, Nicola is in Blackadder. She's in the Christmas special. She plays, I think it's Blackadder's niece or his nephew's wife. She's the one with the really annoying voice. That is Nicola Bryant in that Blackadder Christmas special. Yes, I love the Blackadder. The Blackadder Christmas Carol is my favorite version of a Christmas Carol, period. I love it. Thoughts on Tom Baker as in C.S. Lewis' Silver Chair? Never seen it. Don't have any thoughts on it. The Christmas special. Yes, even Tardis is saying the Christmas special. Yes, Shamrock, the Christmas special. See, this is the Christmas special. Go watch it. She screamed more in Blackadder than in Doctor Who. Yes, she does. And she has that high-pitched laugh. Didn't Destiny get aired opposite a downed competitor due to the industrial? Yes. One of the reasons why City and Destiny have such high numbers is because ITV was on strike at the time. There was a strike going on. ITV was down. So really, that was all there was to watch. I'm sure that is indeed part of why the numbers were so high. But the bottom line is the fact that those numbers are still high. The highest viewing figures for a Doctor Who episode ever is City of Death Part 4 with 16.1 million. 16.1 million. Can you imagine? But to be honest, putting it in context, I think the highest modern Who ratings story is Voyage of the Damned with like 13.3 million. So of all of modern Who, the one that had the highest viewing figures is Voyage of the Damned, 13.3 million. Whereas the Web Planet episode 1 has 13.5 million. So the Web Planet episode 1, I believe it was, has higher viewing figures than anything in modern Who. And I don't know why, but that just amuses me a lot. Zoinks. Yeah, people would sit through Destiny of the Daleks. I love Destiny of the Daleks, man. I don't know why. It's objectively not the best, but it has such a fun rewatchability, especially with the updated effects and on the Blu-ray, the added sound mix that makes Davros's voice more modular like it's supposed to be really helps it a lot. Voyage is a good story. It very much is. Voyage of the End jokes and pop culture references got the most. Which First Doctor story would you like them to use if it's true that David Bradley is in Tales of the TARDIS season 2? I don't even know. I'd have to really think on that. If it's with Susan, if they bring Carol Ann Ford back, it would need to be something from her era. So either like Planet of the Giants invasion of the Dalek invasion of Earth, or something from season 1. I don't know which story I would pick. When Disney shared a Doctor Who clip on Twitter, it got 50 million impressions, and that was days ago. Doctor Who may be about to get massive, which is very possible. I mean, they're very obviously doing a very big push for Doctor Who. They want it to be a global phenomenon. They want it to be, they want it to be 2008 all over again. Obviously, they do. They're putting the money into it because they'll never admit it, but they have to know the Whittaker era was a failure. And it was. I mean, if you like the Whittaker era, that's fine. I respect that. I have people who watch my channel who like Jodie Whittaker. That's fine. I respect everybody's opinions. But objectively, it's very obvious that they considered the Whittaker era a failure because they almost canceled it. Chris Chibnall has even come officially on record and saying they almost canceled it. They almost stopped it. And Power of the Doctor is written like a finale, like you could have ended the show there. And the way the 13th Doctor regenerates, it looks like she's just randomly regenerating, not into a person, but that camera pan out shot, like that's where it would have ended with just her regenerating and us not knowing what the next one's going to look at. So it's very obvious they didn't know what to do with the show. The ratings were down. Matter of fact, Legacy of the Sea Devils was the second lowest rated Doctor Who episode of all time, with the lowest still being Battlefield Episode 1 with like 3.1 million. I did some research on this the other day because I was curious. But the lowest viewing figures of all time for a Doctor Who episode in the UK was Battlefield Episode 1. Number 2, though, is Legacy of the Sea Devils. Its viewing figures were like 3.4. It was abysmally bad. So it's very obvious that they consider that era a failure. They'll never say that, but it's very obvious. And so they're very much trying to rebrand, rebuild, restructure. Again, that's why they're rebranding as season 1, is they very much want to start fresh and make this a new jumping on point for people. And it's very obvious. I'm sure most of you know this as well. Let's see. Let me catch up here real quick. It's fun camp and can be enjoyable, true. That sound mix saves Destiny. That sound mix does help save Destiny. I like the updated effects too. I just find Destiny fun too. Like Tom Baker, one of the reasons I love season 17 is it's very obvious Tom Baker is in a good mood. I mean, I think Tom Baker and Douglas Adams click very well together. Baker's script editing and Douglas's script editing and writing fits Tom Baker's 4th Doctor. Also, it's very obvious Tom is in love with Lala and Lala is in love with Tom. And so they're getting to work together. It's very obvious Tom Baker's in a very happy point in his life. And it comes across in his performance in season 17. So I love everything he is doing in every one of these stories, and including Destiny. I just love that he seems like he's giving like 150% in Destiny of the Daleks in every story this season. The Web Planet is better than anything in Modern Who. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, Phil. Web Planet is certainly not better than like Heaven Sent or Blink. There's a lot of Modern Who better than the Web Planet. There's a lot of Modern Who a lot worse than the Web Planet, because bad in Classic Who and bad in Modern Who are two different things. Very much so. Like bad in Modern Who might be down here. I mean, bad in Classic Who might be down here. Bad in Modern Who, you got to dig for that. But there are a lot of good stories in Modern Who too. Isn't the Marvel era winding down? Not winding down, crashing. Yeah, I don't really care much for Marvel. I'm watching the new season of Loki because I love Loki, but I haven't watched anything Marvel in a while. Probably, I watched No Way Home. I think No Way Home might be the last thing I watched from Marvel, and that was when it came out in theaters. I was literally watching it on New Year's Eve 2021 in theaters when it switched over to the new year to 2022. Marvel is screwed. Yeah, Marvel doesn't seem to know what they're doing. It's because they're dealing with so many B-tier characters nobody cares about, and of course they have their own stuff they're pushing that some people are just fed up with. Let's be honest. Oh, marvelous! They should make an anniversary special called "The Legend of the Doctor." That would be a great way to bring back previous Doctors, especially. Again, I love that line that Sylvester does in his Tales of the TARDIS, where when he talks about the timelines, in some I regenerate, in some I grow old. There's so much you can do with that line. It's such a small line, but there's so much you can do with that. It really opens the doors to other possibilities, and I like that. Tom and Lala needed a room. Yeah, it's so different from season 18 when they won't even look each other in the face and like State of Decay. They're such polar opposites. To be fair, Tom Baker did do a fair bit of script editing, usually for the better, though. I mean, to be fair, nobody knows the Fourth Doctor better than Tom Baker, in my opinion. Best thing to have an A&V root beer is cheese curds. I've got a Dr. Pepper today. Although I do have some A&W root beer in the refrigerator. I do love cheese curds. I very much do love cheese curds. Why did Tom look so skinny and sick in 18? And why did he marry and divorce Lala? Well, one, Tom's just getting older. I think he might have actually been sick part of the season. I know he was stressed. My understanding is that he was so stressed out in season 18, his hair actually went straight, and they had to perm it, is what I've heard. They actually had to perm his hair for some of his final stories. When did he marry and divorce Lala? They got married, I think, not long after he left Doctor Who, and they were married for about a year. So not long after he left, they got married, so early 80s, and then they were only married for about a year or a little over a year. The Web Planet was imaginative and ambitious. You can't accuse the modern series of that. I won't go that far. The Web Planet is very ambitious. I will always give it that. You've heard me talk about that on the channel before. I've always given mad props to the Web Planet for its ambition and the story it wanted to tell. The execution, the budget just wasn't there for it to be executed properly. The modern series is also at times ambitious, at times not, at times the wrong kind of ambitious. Hello, Timeless Children. How is season 2 of Loki? Is it worth watching? I'm enjoying it so far. I'm either 3 or 4 episodes in. I'm liking it. I enjoyed season 1 a lot. I am most excited for Will for the 60th. I am too. I love Bernard Cribbins. I hope and pray they've got all of this filming done before he passed. I have heard he's still in it. But I really hope they got all of his. I really hope they had all of his originally planned scenes done before he passed, because I love Wilf. I love Wilf so much. So I really, really hope so. Between Tom and Douglas, season 17 was the season fueled on pure alcoholic fumes. I don't know. I love season 17. It's fun. Season 17 is so much fun. I absolutely love it. Whenever I watch Earthshock, I always think Adric had better chemistry with Tom than he had with Davison. Yes, I actually like Adric with Tom for the most part. Not always, but usually. It's with Davison, I don't really care much for him personally. I'm looking forward to the specials themselves. The 60th, it'll be great seeing Tennant back in the role. I'm looking forward to seeing Donna back. Donna's my favorite Modern Who companion. What's up, Ryan? It's good to see you back, buddy. So I'm really fired up and excited about having them back. The sass between Waterhouse and Tom Baker is beautiful. Oh, I love in Keeper of Traken the bit where, well, on this page it says this happened. On this page it said it didn't happen. On this page it said it did happen. Tom's like, so? And that bit about, well, you don't make sense all the time. Oh, you noticed that, did you? Well, I love that scene. But I'm looking forward to having the Toy Maker back. I actually like that they're bringing the Toy Maker back because, I mean, they've tried to get the Toy Maker back a couple times, like in the original season 23. I like Neil Patrick Harris a lot. I think he's a really good actor. So I'm looking forward to seeing his interpretation of the Toy Maker and seeing what they do, especially because there's so much you can do with the Toy Maker with his abilities that they couldn't do in the 1966 story just due to technology available and budget. So it'd be interesting to see what all they can do with the Toy Maker as a character when they have the budget these specials obviously have and with the technology we have now. So I'm really actually excited about it. I'm looking forward to the 25th. It's going to be a good month. December is going to be a good month. I'm really fired up about it. Chris Bidney knew how to write Adric. Tony Root and Edward Sayward didn't have a clue. I'm looking at you for the Doomsday. Which, to be fair, Adric also has that kind of betrayal moment in State of Decay, too. He does that a couple of times. Toymaker has some great big finish appearances. I am aware of that. I have heard about that. And I've read The Nightmare Fair, the novelization of The Nightmare Fair, which I thought was a good read as well. And I like how the Toymaker's written in that. Seems like the 60th celebration has just exploded in the last couple of weeks. Yes, I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, that it seems like they've crammed everything here at the end. I wish they had spread it out a little throughout the year, because the first 6 months of this year was dead, basically. We had rumors of animations, rumors of colorizations, and we got the season 9 box set. That's really about it. We had all the, January through June. It wasn't until July we started getting, like the announcement for the 20th box set and Underwater Menace and stuff like that. So I'm glad stuff is happening. I mean, we're getting fed really well lately. There were rumors of Bernard Cribbins being cut from the 60 specials, but that was quickly debunked, which I'm glad. I would have been highly upset to not have him in it. I hope all of his stuff got filmed. I love Bernard Cribbins. He's also great in the original Cushing Dalek Invasion of Earth 2, 2050. He's great in that. So I'm really excited about that. It's a good time to be a Doctor Who fan. We have a lot going on. We have all of these things coming. Tales from the Tardis, the colorized version of the Daleks, the 60th anniversary specials. Underwater Menace is about to drop. We've already basically gotten confirmation we're getting an animated Toymaker. I think they've done everything but confirm it. I did that whole video where I talked about that one lady who used to work with Big Finish Creative, who was director on some of the stories like Abominable Snowmen and Fury from the Deep, one of the other ones. How she is now with Shapeshifter Studios, who did the animation for the Web of Fear episode 3, and that she is working on a project that's 4 25-minute episodes in 3D animation. And I figured then it was the Celestial Toymaker. And then, of course, we had that article from the Mirror recently, which said we're getting an animation of Celestial Toymaker. So everything that except being officially confirmed. And I suspect the animation of Toymaker will be 3D animated. Hopefully, they've learned from their mistakes with Web. I suspect they have. Debunked. Love that word. Florida 17, Arkansas 17, third quarter. I saw that. Tardis knows I'm a big Florida Gators fan and football, American football. And yeah, Florida and Arkansas are tied up. I watched the Five Doctors 40th anniversary edition for Richard Herndl's birthday yesterday. I didn't know that was Richard Herndl's birthday. A very happy birthday to him. I'm not sure how old he would have been, because I know Richard Herndl actually died just a few months after the Five Doctors aired. I think it aired in November, and I think he died in April of '82. It wasn't long after. Good choice. What is one thing you'd love in the anniversary year that is probably impossible to happen? Patrick Troughton to be in it. It's probably impossible to happen, but I'd love to have Patrick Troughton in it. I'd love, just give me Tom Baker. If I get Tom Baker in some capacity, in a nice cameo in there somewhere, I will be a very happy man. It's probably the last chance we'll have to get Tom on the show proper, and I really want Tom Baker on the show. It always meant so much to me when he showed up at the ending of Shada, that last scene of Shada when he actually does show up on screen. I love that so much. I approve. Been watching The Evil of the Daleks on iPlayer. Not seen the animation before. It's good. The animation for Evil of the Daleks is one of the best animations. I love it. My only problem with the iPlayer, my major problem with the iPlayer is I can't watch it because I'm in the States, and that's very frustrating. But my other problem with the iPlayer is they only upload the color versions of the animations, apparently, and I wish they uploaded the black and white versions of the animations as well. Although I guess that does give people incentive to buy the physical releases and still makes the physical releases viable for the existing ones, because only the color version is on the iPlayer, and I'm sure a lot of people would prefer, just for traditionalist sake, to watch the black and white versions. I think if Celestial Toymaker Dino Puffs episode 1 animation may have been, I've seen that and I agree. And his animations he has on YouTube are really good for it. Really, really good. I really liked them. VPN for see, I don't understand how all that stuff works. I'm not a technical guy. The VPN stuff, I have no idea how to do any of that. Luckily, I have a lot of that anyway on DVD and stuff. I have most of the stuff anyway. The Tales of the TARDIS I got to watch because, again, one of my subscribers is a clever fellow. I suspect if we don't get a release of the colorized version of the Daleks, I'm sure someone will get me access to it one way or another. So I'm really excited about it. It's a good time to be a Doctor Who fan. I think we basically covered everything I needed to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting about. A lot of good stuff coming. Really, really excited. Hit the like button. I bought a VPN and tried to go to iPlayer and it didn't work. It's probably complicated. The people who choose the versions that go on iPlayer are not Doctor Who fans and neither know or care what they're putting up. That's probably true, to be honest. But it does help the physical releases maintain their viability as well. Did you see the time traveler murder mystery thing called Bodies on Netflix? I haven't. I turned off my Netflix account actually several months back. I'm getting tired of these raising prices and just everything in life right now. Actually, everything's too expensive. Rent's going up. It's 2020s are not an easy time to be alive. I agree, Phil. Physical media is king. No compression issues, etc. I'm a huge fan of physical media. I always say buy physical media. I mean, I buy most of my video games digitally now, but some of them I still buy physical media. But for my stuff I watch, physical media. I love physical media. The only reason I haven't bought the Loki steelbooks is they're too expensive. I want both of them. I want the Loki series 1 steelbook. Costs too much. I'm very particular with my money. Rent is rent's ridiculous. I'll put it in perspective here in America about rent real quick. I live in Mississippi. Most of y'all know that. Mississippi is Mississippi. Me and a friend of mine had an apartment together, a 2-bedroom apartment that's literally 3 minutes down the road from where I am now. 3 minutes. And that apartment, we lived there from 2015 to 2017. Our rent was $875 a month for this 2-bedroom apartment. $875 a month. Those same apartments, I looked literally 2 days ago, are now $1,400 a month. $1,400 a month. So imagine paying in 2017 paying $875 a month, and then in 2023 paying $1,400 a month, and it's Mississippi. So that's just the state of the world we're in now. I'm in the U.S. also. I couldn't remember where you were, Jeremy. Gatwa needs his Zarby story. Oh, that'd be interesting to see the Zarby come back or the Menoptera come back in Modern Who. That would be interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't mind other classic villains coming back. I just don't know which ones. Like, I'd love to see the Primoids from Inferno come back. I'd love to do another episode because the stuff from Inferno isn't alien. It's just stuff in the earth, that primordial ooze or whatever. I would love to see something happen where a volcano erupted and it came out or something. Because supposedly the third Doctor mentions that's what happened to Krakatoa. So I would love to see that. We should start bringing back the Zarby petition. Yeah, mine's also doubled too in Florida, currently originally New York. You're in Florida. I like Florida. I'm a Gators fan. Bring back the Chumblies. I love the Chumblies. I love the Chumblies. I want the Chumblies back. I actually really like Galaxy 4, to be honest. That's another thing I like about the animation. It made me watch it when I never watched Galaxy 4 before. I really like Galaxy 4. I love the Chumblies. I'm off to see the Marvels next week because I want to stare at Brie Larson and for 2 hours. Not so much for the characters and plots. I just don't want to give them my money. I have no interest in the Marvels. Captain Marvel I didn't really care for. It was just kind of essential viewing because it came between Infinity War and Endgame, so you kind of had to see it. They basically blackmailed you into seeing it. Bring back Omega, but make him awesome like season 10. I actually like him in season 20 better when he's toned down personally. What are the Chumblies? Ryan, the Chumblies are these little adorable robotic things from Galaxy 4. Imagine the Daleks, but if they were super nice and adorable. But if you watch Galaxy 4, they're in Galaxy 4. They look absolutely adorable. Omega was given depth in Arc of Infinity and 3 Doctors. He was a generic shouty. Exactly. More character development in Arc of Infinity. I love Arc of Infinity. It's such an underrated story. Cute robots from Galaxy 4. That's a good way to put it. The costume in season 10 was a country mile better, though. I do prefer the costume in season 10. Would love a return to the alternate universe from Inferno. Kind of like to see how things turned out in their future. I do believe there's Big Finish stories about that set on that alternate Earth afterwards. But I would love for the show to actually return to that parallel Earth. I would actually enjoy that a lot. They also go whoop, whoop, whoop too many times in a row. I love those. I've never seen Galaxy 4, but that would explain the gap in my knowledge. Galaxy 4 is great. I love Galaxy 4 a lot. Who is less shouty, Omega or Kylo Ren? They could have been related. Kylo Ren's more annoying, shouty. Since it contains spoilers and probably surprises, I hope that Wild Blue Yonder will have other doctors make a cameo. I'm pretty sure that's why we haven't seen the art for the 60th anniversary steelbooks yet. Why they haven't revealed the art, even though the release for them was only about a month away, is because there's probably spoiler stuff on the art for the steelbook. So I'm sure that's why we haven't seen the art yet. I would love other doctors to make a cameo. I just watched King's Demons. It was the final master story for me to watch, and it was odd. Needs to be double the length, I think, short final. I love King's Demons myself. I really enjoy that. It's my favorite of the Davison two-parters. Adam Driver for Omega. I'm sold. I'm so sold. But he'd probably play Omega well. He would. Peter Purvis' suffocation scene in Galaxy 4 is the best overall acting in Doctor Who. I don't know about that, but it's an interesting scene. The interesting thing about Galaxy 4 is I love the animation. I love the color animation. I love the black and white animation, but I really love the the recon with the existing footage too, actually. Because not only does episode 3 still exist, but about a fourth of episode 1 still exists. About 6 minutes of episode 1 still exists. It's pretty much the longest existing clip of a Doctor Who story when we don't really have the full story. Is episode 1. So you can actually watch a good portion of Galaxy 4. The art for episode 2 was revealed on the book recently. Interesting. It wasn't meant to be the final resurrection of the Daleks. Was held back a year due to a strike at the BBC, which is exactly true. I think it was called Warhead at the time. But a strike at the BBC led to Terminus being delayed and having to be remounted later, Enlightenment being delayed and having to be done, and several stories almost getting canceled. It's actually kind of a miracle that only Warhead was canceled. Well, rather, I should say pushed back to season 21, because you almost lost several stories in season 20 due to strikes at the time. Who would make a good master for Shudi's Doctor? I'd love to have Missy come back myself. I love Missy. Jeremy says, I am slightly salty that they chose to animate Galaxy 4 over Savages. I've never seen the Savages, but I understand it's one that would be easy to animate. And back when Galaxy 4 was coming out, and we were getting, like 3 animations that year, and we kind of figured we were going to start getting a lot of animations. I know everybody on the forums was talking about Savages. They figured would be the next one because it's so easy to animate. Plus, it's Steven's final story. Liam says, I want a Davros return, but I doubt it would. But just imagine Shudi's Doctor against Davros. See, here's the thing. I can't imagine that because I haven't seen Shudi's Doctor. I have no idea what his Doctor is going to be like. So anytime I see somebody when a Doctor hasn't been, when they haven't started their run yet and people are saying, oh, they're going to be terrible or, oh, they're going to be great, I'm always like, what are you basing this off of? I don't know if Shudi's going to be any good or not. I've never seen any of his other stuff. I've never watched Sex Education or anything else he's ever been in. I hear he's great. I've had people I know whose opinions I trust say he's great. But, I never have an opinion on whether a Doctor is going to be good or not until I've seen their Doctor. What would make, I'm slightly, hang on. Thanks, Phil. That makes sense. Watched Enlightenment for the first time a couple days ago, and that would be my new favorite Fifth Doctor story. The whole Black Guardian trilogy was a 10-10. I love the Black Guardian trilogy a lot. Enlightenment is one of my favorites from the season. Which version of Enlightenment, though? Did you watch it with the original effects? Did you watch it with the 2023 effects? Or did you watch the movie-length edit with the 2009 updated effects, which honestly is my personal favorite, despite the widescreen I can never quite adjust to. But I actually like the updated effects from the 2009 version better than the 2023 version. Guess who just did a video recently ranking all of the upgraded effects stories? That will be coming probably sometime this month. I did a video ranking all of the stories that have gotten upgraded effects from worst to best based on the upgraded effects. I bet he'll be hyper like 10, 11, and 13. I hope not. I hope not, too. I've had enough of that. Michael Goff's toy maker will cameo via flashback in The Giggle. That I didn't know, but that would be awesome. I would love to see that. I love Michael Goff. He's my Alfred. Batman 89 is my favorite superhero movie of all time. He is my Alfred. Shamrock, I think he will be more like Dr. Nine. He said secretly his doctor is sad. Oh, great. A sad doctor. That's what we need more of. Original effects, and I love it. The original effects for Enlightenment are great. The original 83 effects for Enlightenment are really good. All three versions are good watches. The 2023 effects are good. The 2009 effects are good. Enlightenment's just a good story. Sex Education wasn't terrible. There is hope that Shooty could be good. Fingers crossed. Tardis says somehow Shooty will not copy or reflect too much of the earlier RTD doctors, which probably Russell even wants him to do his own thing with it. I'm curious to see what he's going to do. That's my main thing about Shooty's Doctor more than anything is I'm simply curious to see what's going to happen with him. I really, really want Doctor Who to get back to doing stuff off Earth. I'm kind of sick of them always being on Earth. It seems like Modern Who's on Earth more than Pertwee was on Earth. This is good news indeed. Yes. So if they go like off Earth for a little bit, I will be super stoked. Go to other planets like Classic Who did a lot. That's what I want to see. I'm kind of burned out on them being on Earth. Even Pertwee managed to get off Earth sometimes. Come on, y'all. Give me something else. I mean, you need some Earth episodes, either in the future or the past. And obviously one of the upcoming episodes, they're in like the 60s or the 70s. I don't think it's possible for a completely original Doctor now this far in. A female Doctor was their best chance, but she was so similar to 10, which, to be fair, Jodie and Tennant are friends. Yeah, I got to admit, bringing in a Doctor now, there's probably at least one Doctor they're going to be compared to. Just got my rent schedule for the next fiscal year through yesterday. I lived up on the same hill, lived up the hill in the same city 14 years ago for a much lower cost. Amen. Yeah, it's yeah, like I said, I'm moving next week. Next week's video will just be a regular video because I'll be in the process of moving. My best friend's mom actually offered me a room, which is weird because I've been out on my own a long time, or I've had a roommate a long time, but I've known Suzette for 25 years. My best friend and I, Shane, y'all heard me talk about Shane, my friend with the 4 kids. We've been friends since 1998, and I've known Suzette since then. She's like, I've got a spare room. Just you're trying to put money back for a house, which I am. I put 3 offers in on houses last year, but I just got outbid every time. And the interest rates are way higher now. The interest rate's about a 7.7. That's retarded. So I'm just going to do that and save some money and put more money back for a house. Neil Patrick Harris as the toy maker is good casting. Yes, it is. Neil Patrick Harris is great casting as the toy maker. I absolutely love Neil Patrick Harris as an actor, so I'm super excited about that. I was trying to think if there's anything else. Again, the review for Blake 7 episode 2 will hit in December. It's been edited. I might try to get episode 3 watched before the move. We'll see. I got to see how that's going to go. I've got a busy week ahead of me. But I think that's about it, fellas. We've been going for about an hour here. I think I've got everything covered. I'm really excited. It's a great time to be a Doctor Who fan. That's a good idea, Prowl. If you can save up for a house, then that's better. Yes, it really is. Well, the interesting thing about a house is once you get your rate locked in, that's your payment, whereas rent goes up every year now. And it gives me more time so I can put more money down so I can try to cut out the mortgage insurance. And that's more I can put down so I would have a conventional loan instead of an FHA loan, which is way better on mortgage insurance because once you get 20% equity on a house with a conventional loan, the mortgage insurance goes off. With an FHA loan, it stays on for the life of the loan. Yeah, I did a lot of research on this. The bank lady was very impressed with me. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing there. I'm just glad the toy maker is coming back. I am too. It's great to see the toy maker back. I'm going to get off here. I think I've covered about everything I wanted to cover. I am super excited. I want more Tales from the TARDIS. Give me a season 2 of Tales from the TARDIS. Thanks for a great show. Take care. Always appreciate having you, Phil. I'm looking forward to season 2 of Tales from the TARDIS. I'm looking forward to the colorization version of the Daleks. I'm looking forward to Underwater Menace coming, and I'm looking forward to the 60th. Fun fact, when they were filming the regeneration at Legopolis as Tom was leaving the scene, Davison was approaching. Tom and Davison stopped halfway and said, good luck, and winked at her. That sounds like a Tom thing to do. Great chat. Thanks. And have a great couple of weeks. Thanks, Shamrock. Videos, of course, will still be getting posted. I had fun. I appreciate it. All right, guys, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I want to give a shout out to Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. You know, I always appreciate their support on my Patreon. There is a Patreon down there if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there, and a link to my Amazon UK wish list, which has the Blackadder Blu-rays on it, is down there as well. And most importantly, as always, fellas, thank you for watching.